Happy Israel Independence Day, everybody. 76 years young, 3,000 some years old. Third time is a charm. First time we were in Israel, we went with Moses to the Promised Land, brought into the Promised Land by Joshua. We were there till the Babylonians took us over. That's where the Babylonian Talmud comes from, because we were mostly in Babylonia at that time. We came back to build the second temple. The first temple was built in that first time period by King Solomon. And then we have the second time we were there with the second holy temple that was destroyed by the Romans. We were taken captive into slavery, massacred a bunch of us, and that was that. This is where the name Palestine ends up popping into our history, unfortunately. The Romans were very smart. They saw we had a connection to the land of Israel. We've had so they said, let's rename this place, because if we rename it, maybe we can break the connection the Jewish people have with the land of Israel. And they even, when what they did was, in 70 CE, they destroyed the second holy temple. You have the Bar Kokhba revolt, which was, trying to, beat the Romans back, unsuccessful. Rabbi Akiva was part of it. And then you have, in 135 CE, the renaming of Judea. They even put out, when they destroyed everything and finally got the revolt down and everything like that, they even put out coins that said, Judea is captured. I actually have one. It's not in great condition, but it was exciting for me to have one, and I felt it was important, because we're still around and they're not. And I needed to have that coin. So they renamed Israel Palestine in 135. Why Palestine? They named it after the Philistines. The Philistines we know from the Bible. David and Goliath. Goliath was a Philistine. Historically, the Philistines come from, they descend from like the Aegean Islands, the Greek islands. And they landed on the shores of Israel in the Gaza area. That's what we know. And they disappeared into history around 1 CE. So the Romans picked the Philistines to name the country after, to try to break the connection that the Jews have with the land. And for thousands of years from that time, everyone knew, the world knew Palestine was Jewish. Everybody knew that. But things got a little messy around World War I. World War I, the British, the French, won in that area over the Turks, the Ottoman Empire. And that area of Israel and Jordan became the Palestine Mandate. Both countries, what would become both countries, became the Palestine Mandate. Jews were referred to as Palestinians, so were Arabs. But mostly, the early Palestine flag under the Mandate had a big Jewish star on it. Everybody knew that Palestine was Jewish. But in 1922, Jordan got cut off from that mandate and became Transjordan, later to become Jordan. And then the only Palestine on the map was Israel, to be divided again. Even though it was already divided, it was going to be divided again. It was offered in 1947 to Jews and Arabs to have two different states out of that tiny little piece. The Jews said yes, Arabs said no, went to war, and we know the rest of the history, and thank God we have the third Jewish state. So, there you go in a nutshell, huh? The main thing is I want you to understand is that returning to Israel is not a new thing. It didn't just start happening with Aliyah Aleph and Aliyah Bet only a couple, 100 years ago, 150 years ago. It started when we were kicked out the first time by the Babylonians. we didn't just start returning. We've been returning since day one that we were kicked out. And also, you should just know, not all the Jews were removed from the land of Israel. So even though we were conquered by the Babylonians, we were conquered by the Romans, we were conquered by a bunch of other people too, but whatever. Those are the ones that kicked us out from the temples and destroyed Jewish sovereignty. But there were always Jews living in the land. They might have run away to like the north or the south, but there were always Jews in the land of Israel. And whether or not we had a political entity there, whether it was the Kingdom of Solomon or later on during the Second Temple period, there were always Jews living in the land and always Jews returning to the land. We pray to return to the land of Israel 3 times a day. 3 times a day for how many? Couple thousand years already. So it's not like we need, everybody's like, oh, it's so recent, we are just coming back. No. We've been praying to come back and coming back for the last couple thousand years. So it's not a new thing. Israel's been on our radar a long time. Zion. Jerusalem is called Zion. The land of Israel is Eretz Yisrael, the land of Israel. It's the holy land for the Jews. That's what it is. We have special mitzvot that we can only do in the land of Israel and nowhere else. Not New York, not New Jersey, not in Australia, not in Paris, not in London, nowhere else. We have special mitzvot for the land of Israel. This is our holy land for the holy people of Jewish people. That's what you need to know. So grateful to God and all the Jewish people living in Israel, the Jewish people who have given their lives to defend all of us and the land of Israel. Grateful for all the Jews who've done everything they could to make it to the land of Israel. And that's it. Just grateful. Just so grateful. We have a place to go if we ever need it. Not that we should ever have to need it, but we should go with heads high and be there because it's our place to be. Have a great day.